Well, 8 o'clock and our lead story at this hour. The KwaZulu-Natal High Court will today hear the ANC's appeal against the ruling that dismissed the ANC's bid to stop Jacob Zuma's MK party from using its trademark symbols and heritage. The ruling was dismissed 37 days before the general election. For more, let's cross now to our reporter at the court, Canny Maphanga. Canny, good morning. So, of course, at this point, it was a huge deal before the elections, but talk to us about what's to be expected today.
Well, good morning to you, Sakina, and to the viewers at home. Indeed, the battle for the heart and soul of Umkhonto we will continue in the KZN High Court division sitting in Durban. This as the ANC is seeking leave to appeal that April 2024 judgment that dismissed with costs its urgent bid to interdict the newly formed MK party from the use of that name and logo. Now, the crux of the issue before the court today, as they seek leave to appeal, remember when you seek leave to appeal, you have to show the court that there'll be reasonable prospects of success, or the appeal court may come to a different conclusion should they hear the matter as well. Now, we know the April 2024 judgment dismissed the case based on urgency. We know once you fail to meet that test of urgency, that is the end of the matter. But this court went further to deal with the full merits in quite comprehensive detail for the purposes of appeal. So it's quite a task for the ANC to try and to seek leave to appeal in this bid. The central question before the court will be this issue of the goodwill that is associated with the Umkhonto we name. We know the history of Umkhonto we, that is the now disbanded former military wing of the ANC. We know the contribution to the liberation struggle and the role it played in the constitutional democracy that South Africa enjoys today. Now, the ANC will argue that this goodwill is associated solely with the ANC, and that the next question that will flow from that is that if the goodwill is associated with them, is the newly formed MK party unduly appropriating or benefiting from this goodwill that the ANC enjoys? If that is the case, then the ANC will argue that they should be granted leave to appeal to seek that interdictory relief regarding the MK party. Now, we know that they lost this case on a number of grounds, that is jurisdiction, as well as the Section 19 constitutional rights, locus standi, etc. However, the ANC will advance in its main argument this morning when proceedings start at 9:30 a.m. that their case was misrepresented as a case about voter confusion when they're stating that this issue, or rather the goodwill of the Umkhonto we name and brand and the spirit of what it carries in South Africa's society goes beyond elections, and they're arguing that they don't want this newly formed political party to benefit from that goodwill that is associated with the ANC. Of course, with those Section 19 rights, you may remember that prior to the elections, a large issue was what this interdictory relief, or what the ANC was asking the court for, would do to the political rights of Umkhonto we as well as its supporters. Now, the ANC will advance in its leave to appeal that essentially changing the name or seeking this newly formed political party to rebrand, because that's essentially what you will do if you grant them this interdictory relief. That will not negate their Section 19 constitution rights. Those are those political rights to form a political party, to engage in those activities. All it will do is strip them of the use of the name and logo of that Umkhonto we, which the ANC says belongs to them. Now, we know the ANC has since said that this trademark has been ceded to them. However, when we did hear this case in the beginning, that was not the evidence before the court. Remember, when you seek leave to appeal, you seek leave to appeal on what has already been decided. So you can't introduce new facts when you come to the KZN High Court this morning. So we expect proceedings to start at 9:30 a.m. as that battle continues. I'm sure it'll continue until the highest court in the land, as the ANC has reiterated that there will be no retreat on this issue of safeguarding the legacy of Umkhonto we. We expect as well for the former president to arrive this morning to hear some of those arguments. I did see earlier today there was a sweep of that courtroom that took place this morning. And equally, we expect a number of supporters to show up outside the court as the KZN High Court ventilates this issue of leave to appeal. Over to you in studio, Sakina.
Well, thanks so much, Canny, keeping an eye on those developments for us throughout the day.